So, the fractal virus, the origin of evil, and the nature of source. The fractal virus, actually maybe we should backstep a bit and talk about the nature of source and the nature of universes. Source is the universe and everything within it. Source is you, source is me, source is the couch, source is the plant I'm looking at, source is the TV, source is the light that's shining, source is the sun, source is the stuff that we call dark matter. Source is everything in aggregate. And because source is defined as everything in aggregate, source can't take one little bit of creation and say, this is me. Because everything is source in aggregate. There are no beings that are set aside as special speakers for source, that are set aside as source incarnate, because the very definition of an aggregate is that once you have something that is singular, it is no longer aggregate. Once you have that being, it either ceases to be source entirely, because it's one more specific thing within the aggregate. It is not the entirety of the aggregate. Or source ceases to be source, which generally involves the destruction of everything in the universe, and that's not a good thing. So, source is this universe and everything in it. Even visitors become partially of source while they are in this universe. This universe is attached to other universes, which go higher in dimensionality. We're here, as we know it, from 1 to about 12 or 13 as it's being born. As we attach to greater parts of the multiverse, to other parts of the multiverse, those older branches or twigs are maybe going from 12 to 44 or 12 to 36 or whatever, and so on and so on. So many zones of dimensionality are captured in each extension of the twig, and it is very much like a twig. We're a leaf at the end of a twig that is on a twig, that is on a branch, that is on a big branch, that, and so on and so on and so on, until our multiverse branch connects to the main trunk of existence. And there are an infinite number of branches, there are an infinite number of twigs, there are an infinite number of leaves, and even our leaf can go on to become a twig and make other leaves and flowers and so on. Sometimes we refer to this as the universe tree, and it's a very apt metaphor because if you were to look at the structure, it is tree-like. It is also flower-like. And our universe actually looks more like a lotus than a leaf, but we can refer to it as a leaf for simplicity's sake. When our universe was born, and this is a young universe, you know, it seems pretty darn old to us, but it's actually one of the newer flowers on the twigs at the end of the branch. When our universe was born, it was born with a disease. The disease came higher up the trunk, or higher up the branch, not quite to the main trunk. It isn't infecting the entire tree, but much of the branch we're on is infected with this disease. That disease we refer to as the fractal virus. What happened was a group basically broke off from the main universe tree and discovered that they could destroy universes and kill the sources within them and use the leftover dead universe material, because even if you kill a source and that universe consciousness is dead, there remains living beings inside of it, although they will be in decline at that point and eventually will go extinct because the source flame within them is also dead. There will be living beings inside of it that can become enslaved. There will be raw materials in the form of all the matter and higher dimensional matter that you see around us, and there will be energy still left over in the corpse. Just like when you die, you leave a body behind, and that body can go on to become dirt or ash or worm food or whatever. And this group basically learned how to kill universes, in other words, kill sources, in order to take and cannibalize those corpses and to construct their own artificial dead universe that is not connected to the tree. Now, the problem with this is that it's a dead universe. That means it can't innovate, it can't create, it can't expand and grow, because this universe, as any physicist will tell you, is expanding. What they don't realize is that there is not indeed a finite amount of material, because this universe is alive, our source is alive, and as long as our source remains alive, new material will be generated. There will be no heat death of the universe. However, if our source dies, that's when you get the heat death of the universe. And that's when this group that developed the fractal virus comes in and basically cannibalizes everything in sight, enslaves anyone left alive, and uses all the raw materials to keep their own dead universe's false life going that much longer. Everything they do costs them materials and energy. Everything they do costs them lives. So for them, this is a zero-sum game. For us, as long as our universes are alive, we have infinite resources. However, Drake has in the past discussed the notion of infinities of different sizes. The dead universe of the attackers is a heck of a lot larger than our little leaf. So even though we technically have an infinite space, so do they. And they have a larger infinity than our leaf, though not of our branch or the whole tree. To go back to what I was saying before, they infected the branch with a disease that was designed to create ideal circumstances for one-shot kills on universes once they reached what they consider to be a harvestable size. Everybody wonders what's so important about this planet. Why is the big deal about this planet? You know, what's going on here? Why is Earth so important? Earth is the kill shot. If we fail here, this universe dies. That's why everyone and their dog is getting involved. That's why there's all these different groups that are trying to manipulate things here. Some of them are working for the universe killers because they've been promised a little slice that they can rule over. They've been promised their own kingdom, their own slaves, their own little thing, whatever. Some of them don't realize that what they're doing is going to result in the end of the universe if they're actually successful. Even the ones who know what they're doing, what they don't realize is that these universe killers, because it is a zero-sum game for them, never let their minions actually gain their rewards. This is a very important thing. If you're helping these guys, if you're working against the good of this planet and the survival of this planet, you're not going to be a king in hell. You're going to be food. You're not going to get whatever it is you think you're getting. A couple of people from this universe, and they won't be from Earth, they won't be on Earth, let me guarantee that. A couple of people from this universe will be given the Oprah treatment to be able to use as examples to the minions in other universes. Hey, look, you'll become a king. Guess what? The rest of you are food because sharing with you cuts on the whole that these killers are trying to get. And everything they have to share with someone else is one thing that they don't get themselves. They put so much effort into making these diseased universes one-shot kills. What makes you think they'll ever share any of that bounty with anyone that isn't themselves? They don't. Nobody on this planet, nobody in this galaxy, nobody in this galaxy supercluster is going to get to reap those rewards. The ones who are actually doing this come from outside this universe, and none of those rewards are going to go to anyone within this universe. So if you're listening, now might be a time to turn and start fighting for your own survival. You're not going to be a king in hell. Maybe it is better to just be a regular dude in heaven than a king in hell, because you'll never be that.